Welcome to the Speeding in the Pits podcast with your host, myself, Wyatt Williams, and my co-host, who last week, single man, you did a great job, buddy, Connor Klon
Thanks, sir.
Huberty. I loved the episode, dude. It was great.
Thanks. Well, yeah, listening back to it a little bit, I usually don't listen to myself, but this one I tried anyway. I didn't make it all the way through it. It felt a little too educational. I sounded like I was giving a lecture on NASCAR, but yeah, it was a good first attempt. We'll chalk it up to that. I'm okay with it.
Hey, first solo show, those are never easy, especially talking for, didn't you go 45 minutes?
About 40.
Yeah,
just under, like 36.
45 minutes by yourself, that is no easy task. But part of the show last week that we didn't get to hit because I wasn't here was the magical dice. So we're going to start off this episode real quick just to knock it out. We got 2 dice rolls to start this one. And then next week, or no, not next week, shoot. Into the episode, you've got your 2 dice rolls for this.
So I get 4 shots at it here.
You got 4 shots tonight, dude. 4 shots.
There's no way.
We are 0 for 6. We got it. We got to get right. Here we go. Are you ready?
It doesn't even make sense. Think about that. I'm 0 for 6. 6 numbers. All right. 2.
Hey, you're due.
No way.
Dude!
Let's go.
Boom. Okay, well then we'll call
the second one.
We'll call it at that one then. All right. We'll do it here at the end.
We're so back.
We are so back.
1 for 7.
Oh man, I was starting to wonder if you'd ever get that. I was really starting to get worried.
You just can't switch the number. You're eventually going to get it, right?
Right.
Law average says.
Just stick with it. Okay, so to start out, we got a lot to talk about this week. And to start out, we're going to start out with someone who's doing some incredible things on the track right now. Man. I mean, wow. I mean, you said this to start the season out. I will give you full and complete credit to start this episode. You were the guy who said at the beginning of the year that this is a C-Bell type of year. And so far, we've had 4 races and he's won 3, and the last 3 of them were all in a row. So, wow, what a start. Yeah. It's the first three-peat win since 2018 when Kevin Harvick did it. And ironically, his 3rd win of the 3 came at Phoenix as well. So, dude, it's looking good for that Toyota 20 right now at JGR.
Yeah, man. I mean, thank you for giving me props. I may or may not have been a little bit biased from meeting him at the Chili Bowl, Christopher Bell, and said that purely based off that with no factual evidence to back it up statistically. But hey, rather be lucky than good. But Christopher's certainly not just being lucky at this point. 3 in a row is crazy. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I thought he'd have a good year, but nobody predicts this, right? Like, this isn't something you drop for anybody.
Absolutely not. And I wanted to bring up another point too. He is one Cole Custer away from having 4 wins. You know, let me rephrase that. Potentially. He was running up front, and of course, Cole Custer just sent him into the wall and then sent himself into Ryan Preece, who went for a wheelie ride. So
that's right.
That was interesting. But yeah, I mean, we're at a spot where, like, I'll say this, he has been in contention or won all race. 4 races to start the year. And as we look ahead, there is a lot of races that really suit this 20 team moving forward. And I got to ask you, how much longer can he go? Because we've got some good tracks here coming up for that 20 team.
I mean, realistically, you look at the next 2. We got Vegas coming up this weekend. We'll talk about it more. But then Homestead after that. I mean, Martinsville at the end of March. Vegas and Homestead to me, like, yeah, am I going to sit here and predict that a driver's going to win 5 in a row? We'll see by the end of the show who I'm taking for this week if I want him to win 4.
I like it.
I don't know, man. Like, he could get both these next 2 tracks are right in his wheelhouse. He was the best car in Vegas last fall. Like, overall, I know he didn't win the race, but like, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
or did he win? Did he win in Vegas? I'm sorry.
No, Joey won at Vegas last year, correct?
Right. That's right.
And that's what got him into the round of 8 where he was eliminated but still ended up being the champ. So
that's right.
We love NASCAR.
That's right. Go playoffs. Good playoffs.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, like these next 2 tracks lay out great for him. So I don't know. It's gonna be a Christopher Bell world, I do believe, until the end of March for sure.
I would argue even farther than that. I mean, when you look after that, you've got Martinsville, Darlington. Those are some tracks that he could keep going on. Now, obviously, it is incredibly unlikely that he goes on to win 7 in a row. But like as we look ahead here, right? That's crazy. That would be nuts. I can't even watch us sit here in 4 weeks, and we're like, how in the world is he sitting here with 7 wins and 8 races? But
be the greatest single run of all time in NASCAR.
absolutely, I can't even think of anything that would even remotely come close. I mean, have we ever had a 4 in a row?
They've had 4.
They've had 4.
I'd have to go back and look. Let me
And
dig
I feel
for
like it was probably like Richard Petty. Like it had to be somebody a while back who just dominated a generation. Watch it be Jeff Gordon.
Drivers with 4 consecutive wins in history. Funny that we're talking about it's a Christopher Bell story. Most recently, Mark Martin in 93 and Jeff
Let's
Gordon.
Go. The kid. Hey, what's
2007, Jimmy Johnson, Martinsville, Atlanta,
that makes sense.
Texas, Phoenix.
Okay, so do we have a 5-time? Like what's the record? What are we chasing here?
I think it's 4.
So it's 4. So we've never. Will you look up 5 real quick just to make sure?
Yep, we'll dig. But yeah, I don't think anybody's ever gone 5.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine seeing somebody win 5 times in a row? 5
the whole month
Sundays. That's just crazy. And watch with this NASCAR playoff format, he'd be eliminated in the round of 16.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I mean, he's already done enough. He's got enough playoff points. He's guaranteed probably with winning races at this point. He's probably guaranteed no worse than if he doesn't win another race and he runs 15th the rest of the year. He's guaranteed to be probably like the 10 seed, 8 seed
for sure.
Like he's sitting pretty good.
I mean, yeah, if you go out and get 3 wins, as long as he can keep himself in the top 20 on average for the rest of the year, I mean, yeah, you're sitting top 10 at least. I mean, I like high top 10. I'd say anywhere from 8 to I'll say around 10. So I'd say anywhere from 8, depending on how the rest of the field goes, anywhere from 8 to 12, easily.
Yeah. So I mean,
crazy.
Like that's the thing with the system in this format is like they can sit back and take swings at setups and strategy and stuff the rest of the year or the rest of the regular season and just go for it all the time. And
which in my opinion, yes, that can be a little more risky at times, but I just think with how great of a driver he is. And the other thing too that I wanted to bring up is, yes, Christopher Bell is a great driver. Yes, JGR puts out some great cars, but how about that pit crew? I mean, 2-time consecutive winning fastest pit crew at the NASCAR All-Star Weekend, and they prove it week in and week out. They get him into the box and they get him out of the box as quick as possible, and they beat everybody else. I mean, they do laps around everybody else on pit road.
Yeah.
It's really not close. Well, it's cool to see.
It truly feels too with those guys. And when it comes to great pit crews, like, yeah, the faster the better. That's obvious. Like you need that, and that those top tier teams have those pit crews that can do that. But it's just the lack of mistakes. Like they don't get miss a lug nut. They don't let the jack leave the box. They don't drop the fuel can. Like all these things you see other teams do, and it costs you a penalty or just costs you time straight up. Like that just never happens. Like they're just rock solid every time. And yeah, pair that with them being lightning fast, and it's just a lethal combination. Like they're tough to beat, and you got to beat Christopher on the track too. So impossible matchup for anybody. I did find too, Richard, it's according to NASCAR Reddit I'd call it the early age of NASCAR. Richard Petty did win 10 races in a row in 1967. That was back when they would race like 2 or 3 times a week, though it looks like there were a few different races mixed in, like on a Sunday, a Wednesday, and a Friday or something like that. So he's the only other one.
Holy cow, 10 in a row. Okay, well that's untouchable. I mean,
that's two different sports, I guess.
We saw Kevin Harvick win 11 in a year,
something like that. Yeah,
like it was somewhere around there.
20,
and then 2021, Kyle Larson won 10 or 11,
8 or 10. Yeah, was it 10?
It might have been double digits. I don't know. I'm sorry, buddy. I've got you looking up things over here,
like
going like crazy. But yeah, I mean, like that just seems unattainable. I mean, if you were on a streak winning 10 races in a row, wow. I mean, holy cow! What are you seeing?
This article's from 2021. It has been a dominant year already for Kyle Larson, where he just notched 8 wins, and there's 3 races remaining. So I don't know how many after 8 he won.
Well, that was the year he won the championship
Won the
race that year,
championship,
right?
so he at least won 9. Yeah, see, that one stinks because it doesn't give you.
Right. It's all good. No,
Kevin
don't worry
Harvick
about
won 8 races in 2018.
it.
Martin
8,
Truex
okay.
Jr. won 8 races in 2017.
Okay.
Denny Hamlin won 8 races in 2010.
Still not a champion. Wow.
Carl Edwards won 9 races in
Still not a
2008.
champion.
Not a champion.
Wow.
Oh, 2008 was
Dude,
the
dude, real quick. Speaking of Carl Edwards, I
yeah.
have to bring this up. First off, this isn't what you think. This is not about him getting the reporter job, which is really cool, and I'm
Awesome.
excited
Yeah.
about it. Very excited about it. Do you know who doesn't like Carl Edwards? Like despises him?
Nobody.
Austin Schindler.
What did Carl ever do to him?
He says he hates him because I don't even know. I don't get his reasoning. I really don't. I've asked him a million times. It doesn't make sense. I'm like, how could you not like him? It's like I was like, that would be like a Timberwolves fan not liking Nas Reed. Like that's the equivalent of it.
Honestly,
For me.
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Like
yeah.
a NASCAR fan not liking Carl Edwards is like a Timberwolves fan not liking Nas Reed. Like it just doesn't make sense. Why would you not?
I don't know what Carl ever did to him. I wonder if
That's
it's
what I'm
like
saying.
if it's childhood trauma that like Carl would win races and
Right.
Yas' favorite driver was like Dale Jr. So Dale Jr. was fine. Like Dale won races. Had some down years, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad. Like I don't think in the career wins list, I don't think they're that far off of each other. I'd
No.
argue they're probably pretty close. But maybe he just has PTSD from what was this 2008. Maybe he's just scarred from Dale not maybe having the greatest 2008, and Carl certainly did. But there's no reason to not like the guy. I don't know.
Right. That's what I was like, how can you like Carl Edwards? But anyway, sorry, back to the point. We're going way off topic here. We've talked a little bit about the screwy playoff format. Something that's weird with the points that we noticed this week that was it Bob Pockers that put it out?
Yeah, he was first to point it out. Obviously, it's a fact we can all go see, but yeah,
That
that's where I saw it first.
William Byron leads the points right now.
Yeah.
Seabell has won 75% of the races this year. 75% to start the year. That's such a crazy win. Like, dude, he started the year 3-1 in win-loss record.
Yeah,
like,
legit.
That's crazy. Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, just weird. Like to see William Byron at the top. Like, I get it, he won a race. And I guess, I mean, when I think back, like he's been consistent, but like I just feel like 3 wins should overshadow that. You know, like how far off is the differential?
It's not a lot.
Sorry, buddy. I've had you looking up stuff since we started.
I have most of this pulled up. It's 100. Well, I guess it's more than I would have guessed. It's 165 points,
really?
Points to 152. So the gap is 13.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was 150 point. Well, I was like, what?
I see what's going on, including stage points. Yes, I'm reading that right. So it's a 162 to 165 to 152. So 13 points. But
that's crazy. I would have thought it'd have been like a point or two. Even that.
It's insane. I mean, you got to give the 24 team credit. I mean, the system is the system, whether we like it or not. They're scoring stage points at every opportunity, it looks like. Because I think even after Phoenix with Christopher Bell winning the race, I want to say William Byron like scored just as many points as he did or something like that. Like it's they're obviously having success in more ways than one. It doesn't necessarily just always count as wins. And for those of you wondering at home, no, the Daytona 500 does not count for more points. So it's not like because he won the 500, he's getting a boost of any kind. No. It's the same as everything else, but
same amount of points.
Yeah, absolutely wild that the guy just won 3 in a row and he's in second in points. Like, I don't know. Is this a conversation we need to have where like the format stinks that winning races isn't valuable enough? Because like that's the whole.
Well, but that's the thing is that like that's why this is also weird because winning races I feel like has been too valuable almost. I don't want to say too valuable, but kind of it has been like a win to a certain degree for the back of the pack drivers. That's how I should have said it. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to think about that. Moving on to the next thing here. This is something that I wanted to bring up. I saw a lot about it in NASCAR media this week, and I kind of wanted to get your opinion and weigh in myself a little bit. This Katherine Legge situation, first off, getting to drive a cup car on Sundays is such a huge honor for any driver. And she 1000% did everything correct in her career to get herself to this point to be able to race this car. I just feel like NASCAR completely and utterly 100% set her up for failure.
Yeah.
Like from the start. There needs to be, if we want to have our cup guys not getting as much practice and all that stuff, like whatever, go for it. But like if we've got somebody like Elio Castroneves, or we got someone like Katherine Legge coming in, or a Travis Pastrana, like we've seen a lot of these people who are legends in the racing world coming over and racing in NASCARs, but they just don't like Elio struggled a lot in the Daytona 500, and I feel like that got overlooked a lot because of the nightmare that we had at the Daytona 500. But
Yeah.
like I don't know. I just feel like she was completely and utterly from the start set up to fail. She was told to build a house and given one hammer and one nail.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel about it.
No, I'm with you there. I think it falls on the shoulders of NASCAR. Do I think she should have been out there on Sunday? No. I find it weird that leading up to this race, the quotes and the storylines that kept coming out as well. NASCAR wants her to get approved by running a short track race. Why are we using a cup race in any fashion as a way to get a full license for the Cup Series? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that
you
doesn't
should
make sense.
you should be getting approved to run all tracks in the Cup Series, maybe in a testing session. I understand maybe you don't want to throw somebody out at Daytona as their first Cup race.
Sure.
But now, as I'm saying that, Xfinity guys that run as young Xfinity guys that run full seasons and then get Cup rides, a lot of times their first races would be the 500. Like it doesn't necessarily work out like that all the time. Like guys will sneak up and run a one-off as a younger up and coming driver and then go full time the next year. And then, the rest is history. Like I think that happens in most cases, but they're running full-time Xfinity when that's the situation. So I don't know. I hate it for her because now we're having this conversation that she wasn't ready and that it's a black, not a black eye, but a blemish on the sport and like all this stuff and all the negatives that come with it. And like, yeah, it's a bummer she spun twice, like ended Suarez's day, all this stuff. Like, I don't know. I just wish there was a way where her situation is a little bit different. She's run Indy 500 before. She's run Xfinity races before, but nothing super consistently. So I
Right.
just wish NASCAR maybe would have taken more time. And like, I don't know if like you said, we're trying to get away from practice time. So do you add testing sessions for stuff like this? Or do you have a prerequisite where she runs a couple of Xfinity races to do this? Because yeah, to me, this follows a little bit with the Helio deal of like, we're just putting names in cars to draw attention to the sport and they're not really going to be factors. And to me that's annoying because that's not what a race is. A race isn't a testing session. It's not a publicity stunt. We're here to win and be competitive. And they made it very clear from the beginning they were there to not be competitive, and she was there to get laps and get approved to move on to be cleared to run all tracks in NASCAR. And like, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't feel like that's how that should go. I don't know. And I know that she's not the only one. I'm not. Like I said, I hate that this is how we have to talk about it because it's how it. She's at the center of it. But it does raise awareness on the entire situation that I do think NASCAR needs to look in the mirror a little bit about how we're letting people jump in here and get into races and participate. Because, frankly, to me, that's a waste of time. Daniel Suarez certainly thinks that was a waste of time as well. I
He
know.
was not happy, dude.
I know Daniel Suarez is imperfect and he makes mistakes too, but like that's tough. And
yeah, no,
I don't know.
that's a bad break, and that's 2 weeks in a row with tough endings to his day. My thing is, I think a lot of these drivers who come over and race just one race, I don't think that they come over to race 2, 3 Xfinity races and then come up to Cup.
No.
I
They
don't think that
don't.
they want to do that. So here's my deal. Phoenix is used by the Cup Series 2 days out of the year. It's used by the Xfinity Series 2 days a year, and the Truck Series 2 days a year as well. Um, there are 365 days in the year. Why can't we plan something where we know that this person, whoever it may be, wants to come over? Okay, let's say Schumacher next year was like, I want to drive a Cup car. Cool, let's do it. So let's get him now that we're not racing there anymore and the track is just going to sit there like a paperweight. Let's have Hendrick, let's have Gibbs, let's have whoever it may be, whatever team they're racing with. Let's have them send a car out there. Let's go run laps. Why can't we send these people out on the track and have them get comfortable with the track, comfortable with the car? Because Kevin Harvick talked about this on his podcast. Like, these Cup cars are extremely hard to drive. Like, they get loose very easily. They're always tight. Like, they're just tough to drive. They're not like any other car, essentially. You know, you got guys like SVG who came over and had his one start and won the race. But when you look at that, he drives stock cars. Like, it's not that big of a transition where we have open wheel drivers. We have coming over and racing without any lick of experience, knowledge, anything of this car. And there's no practice time. There's nothing. And to Daniel Suarez's point, it absolutely is dangerous to do that. Like that would be, I don't want to say like throwing me or you in one of those cars, because yes, they've got more racing experience than us, but that would be like if you went and found your local short track late model driver and just shoved them in a Cup car on a Sunday. Go have fun, buddy. Good luck. Like, don't die. Like, there needs to be some way that we can put them on a track, or take a Cup car to Hickory, take a Cup car to Kentucky, take a Cup car to anywhere that's open. Have them do laps. I guarantee you, if you put these drivers who are legends in other sports, they clearly and obviously know how to race. If you put them in this car and give them a couple days trying this out at a different track or at this whatever track they're going to race at, and not on race day, if you do that, they're going to figure it out. It's just a matter of practice. And I just hate it for Katherine Legge, because I think that this is something where I don't know if she's ever going to get this opportunity again now because of this.
Right.
And it's a shame, because it's not even slightly her fault at all. There's nothing about that was on her. They just threw her to the wolves. It would be like if I walked into I cook dinner with Nikki every night, but you don't see me walking into a 5-star Michelin chef's kitchen and head chefing for the night. It would be a disaster. I'd cut my hand off and catch my hair on fire. Like,
that'd be something,
right? Like, we got to find a better way to do this. I find myself every week being concerned and frustrated with something that we've got going on in our sport. And man, I just want a race where we end and I'm like, I loved the tire, I loved the track, I loved the racing, and no BS. We were BS free from NASCAR officials, from NASCAR shoving a driver out there who has no clue. I don't say no clue what they're doing, who is not experienced enough to be doing that. Like, I just want a BS-free weekend. Is that too much to ask? Can we do this show one time without frustration and angst with a situation going on our track? It's impossible.
That'll always be
it is genuinely impossible.
And I don't think it's necessarily the end of the world that we have that. I just think, and I can backtrack a little bit here. I don't know if, like, me saying that her running Xfinity races, to your point, is necessarily the right idea either, because like you said, the Cup car is so different. So like, you can run as many Xfinity races as you want. There's still going to be that learning curve, but I don't know. It's not her fault. She's just signing up for what she was able to and running races that she's allowed to. I don't blame her for that. It's just, you wish it would have gone differently. Yeah, I'm sure she does too, but like, what do you do? I mean, this is what NASCAR is allowing, and this is what they have to anticipate a little bit. So, I mean, I think the blame goes to them. And I just think I don't know. It just bothers me. Like SVG, like you said, he ran one race like in Chicago in 2023, wins the thing, and I just don't know, because then you look at his resume and yeah, it matches, and then you look at hers and she obviously wasn't driving the 91 for Trackhouse. She was driving the 78 for McLeod, and that's a very different car that was going to run off the pace slightly anyway. And I don't know. You could go down this rabbit hole, man. I do wish maybe on ovals, if you're somebody like her that has some oval experience but not a massive amount, maybe there could just be more time where SVG running a street course, like you said, the next gen car is super similar to the super V8s or was super 8s, whatever they call them out in Australia or New Zealand that he was running. Like, you're just splitting hairs at the end of the day. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I just wish I wish this wasn't the PR coming from this, because like I said, I want her to succeed. I want her to be a part of the sport, but now you're looking behind the 8 ball a little bit, and what happens next, I don't know if she knows either. I hope she gets another shot, but it's tough.
Yeah, and I also want to make something clear. Like, it is great for the sport for us to have this. Like, it is very
Yeah,
good for the sport to have other drivers who are great from other sports coming here and racing. It's so cool to see. It boosts viewership. It helps their fans, their fan base, our fan base. It's a win-win for everybody. Like, I'm not saying go away from it, like, but we gotta, we can't douse them in gasoline and have them run through hell. It's just we're setting them up for failure from
yeah,
the start. It's not going to work. But speaking of stuff working and not working, what did work this weekend, in my opinion, the tires. I was beyond satisfied, especially with the Reds. I mean, there was a clear and obvious difference between somebody driving on yellows. There would have been a clear and obvious difference between somebody driving on old reds and fresh yellows. Like, it
yeah.
was really cool to see the variation. And Denny Hamlin brought up a good point on Actions Detrimental this week. Like, let's just stick with that red tire. Let's
That's
take
what
that
I'm
red
saying.
tire to all the short tracks. It had great fall off. We had great lap times. There was great grip in the corners. The cars were going faster. Like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I love it. Like,
yeah.
I don't need an option anymore. The option's cool.
Right.
I like that we did that to test it out and not just have a crazy situation with a tire that doesn't work. But we've seen it. It works.
Well, the
Let's run it.
argument, I'm with you, and I just think with any gimmicky system like that, which is the option tire and having a choice of what tires you run, and you have certain amounts of sets of each, eventually that game of chance and that choice the teams have isn't going to become a choice. Like, we're all going to make the exact same situation or same decision at the same time, because that's the fastest way to run the race. You'd go to your primary tire this time and this time in the race, and then at this point of the race after a stage or something, you'd come out with the option tire. Like, it's going to be down to a science in 2 years. It's not going to create any new drama. There's going to be no comers or goers. It's just like every other gimmick that happens in NASCAR or any other motorsport. Like, in 2 years, you wouldn't even notice that they had them, that they would be running two different tires. Everybody's going to be running the same one. So yeah, I haven't heard Denny say that, but that was my thought right away, is like, let's just bring the soft tire next time. Like, it pisses me off though, because this is what I've been saying for 2 years with this car, is like, let's just bring a super soft tire that falls off. Then we had it at Bristol last year, and it's like, oh, that was probably a good
Wow.
idea. Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, and here we are now talking about two different tires at the racetrack, and that's not it. It's not it. Just
Yeah,
you have it. You have the option tire, the soft one. Bring that tire. We don't need the other one. Nobody wants it. Throw it away. I don't care. Just bring one tire.
I love
Stupid.
it. I love it so
Been talking about this for 2 years, Goodyear. And you had to run a live experiment in the All-Star race to show us that you were creating a softer tire last year. And now you thought, because that went well, meaning the soft tire worked, They have to create a whole new system, and now NASCAR is overthinking everything. Just stupid. Just
Are
yeah,
you a Tony Stewart fan?
yeah,
I can't tell.
yeah.
There used to be this guy named Tony Stewart who raced in NASCAR. I don't know if you've heard of him or not. Not the biggest fan of Goodyear. I was just wondering if
Well,
you happen to
yeah.
have some kind of a tie with him. I don't know what it is.
This is. I forgot about that. It's completely unrelated to that right now, but I think he'd be saying the same thing. I'd like to think so anyway, because why are we even doing that? Why
Yeah,
do we need that? Like that's not what this is. Because then all of a sudden, I saw somebody say it might even been Christopher Bell in an interview about this. I think previously, I don't even think it was this weekend, but he got asked about it, and he said something along the lines of like, the only thing with having a choice in the tires you run is it opens the door to, hey, so and so saved a soft set of tires for the last 5 laps of the race, and here's this fluky dumb caution that came up. Well, now he's going to restart 20th on the softs or the option tire. Speaking F1 language, he's going to start with the option tire with 5 to go. Everybody else only has their regular hard tire left. He's going to pass everybody. Now, is that rewarding the best driver in the field because he saved a fluky set of tires for a fluky caution? No, I don't
no,
think so. Get
no.
rid of it. Let everybody work with the same racetrack, the same tire, the same car. I know everybody has the same sets, that's fine, but like you're gonna run stupid Hail Mary type plays saving tires and crap. Just throw it away. Let's be done before this gets too big of a deal and you're gonna hear me get even more mad. Just stop. We're done. Bring the soft tire to Martinsville. We're good.
I'd love to see it. That would be really cool. I totally forgot to throw this in the rundown here, but I wanted to bring it up. I texted you about it on Sunday, and I want
Oh
your
yeah.
honest. I want your honest opinion on it. Complete honesty. Am I overreacting to this? Because I was very upset about and I'm not a Joey Logano fan. I don't dislike Joey. I like Joey, but I'm not even like a Joey Logano fan. It's not like I'm a fan who's sitting here mad because his driver got a penalty. I think it's completely ridiculous that his left front tire grazed the yellow line right before he crossed the start finish line, and they made him do a pass through. It would be a completely different situation if he was in 7th and slammed the gas down, dropped below the yellow line fully, and passed everybody, including the leaders.
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead. Penalize him. Absolutely. But we already have the leader control the restart and control that. They're already controlling the race. Why the hell do we care if a front left tire grazes the yellow line before he passes the start finish line?
Yeah.
When that's where everybody's going, or most of the pack, half the pack, whatever you want to say, is going to drop right below that yellow line when the race starts. If we're putting it on our leader to start the restart in the restart zone, that's fine. Then they need to be able to do what they need to when they smash that gas down. It is so, and I get it. I get it for everybody out there that's going to say, "Oh, well, technically it's in the rules. You can't get on that yellow line." I get it. It's in the rules. You can't do it. It's just ridiculous, and it needs to be changed. In my opinion, honest opinion. What do you think? Am I overreacting, or is this
No.
something?
Well, I mean, in the sense that like it's in the rules, like I Joey knows that. So I mean, why even run that to chance? I guess is my argument. Like we've seen NASCAR stand pat on their rules of track limits and things here, or at least try to. Coda being the exception, but they do a decent job, I'll say, in other instances. This being one of them, where it's like, Joey, you know the rules, dude. Like I don't know what to tell you. And to be fair, I had to watch the replay like 8 times. I couldn't find a good angle watching it back after the race on Twitter where you could really see it well. Like from the overhead shot from the stadium, you couldn't really even tell he did anything wrong, to be honest with you. It was pretty light, but I don't know. I just, if you're gonna let the guys run wherever, like I get that you don't want them doing it before the line at Phoenix, because if you're going to start breaking it off the banking there, driving it on the apron. You're going to have guys crushing the pit road fence at some point, like just absolutely annihilate that thing.
True.
So I think that's their logic, but I have a hot take. I think the dog leg thing at Phoenix is freaking stupid anyway. Preposterous that we're doing that. Like that looks like my son's what I think of when I watch that is my son's Hot Wheel track, and like we just built a ramp and sent 10 cars down it at the same time, just 10 wide cars, just sent it down it and just manufactured a whole bunch of chaos.
Like, this kid is crazy as it can. Dude, some of these guys have brass balls, dude. Like
they do.
They will dive down and they will get within, I'm talking inches of that pit road exit wall, dude.
They do, but I know they do that. Like I know those guys are fearless. I don't need to see whatever carnival games at Phoenix crap that is. Like, I don't need that. Because then you got them 6 wide up to the fence through 1 and 2, and it's
that is true.
They're going down the back off of 2 on a straightaway wide enough for literally 5 cars. They're 4 wide coming off of 2.
They're coming off. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing.
I mean, they do a relatively great job keeping that thing clean. They should junk way more cars there than they do. But that's what NASCAR wants, is for them to come off to 8 wide. One of them hits the pit wall, splits it in half. Stupid. We don't need it. Again, it's just another one of those things where it's like Phoenix was okay the way it was, but it's still just okay. So, like, what did we really gain? And it just drives me nuts. Like, I don't know. Put the start line back where it was. Everything. Just,
you're killing me over here, dude.
You can tell, but
you're killing me over here.
It's just such a manufactured. Like, hey, drivers, here's this sweet ramp you can take off the start-finish line. You can drive down this hill on this open plane of asphalt. You can be 12 wide to the fence, and then you're going to hit the first turn of the race. Good luck. What do you think they're going to do? I don't even blame Joey. I don't even remember what the question was. It's not Joey's fault. He's just doing what he was taught.
Yeah, we've strayed so far, of course, here.
Heck, they should be able to just restart the race from the apron. Who cares? Stupid. I hate it.
Oh, dude, that's good.
Yeah,
I am in tears. I don't know if you can see this or not.
No, they clean sinuses. All it's good for you. Time of year again, man. Allergies, but
you have me dying over here. Okay, so I gotta get this. I gotta get it back together, dude. I'm so far off course here.
You're good.
Okay, so this is something we're implementing new into the show, where after we do the whole intro where we break down the previous race.
It's gonna be great. You're doing well, man.
I can't help it, dude. I can't stop laughing.
No, I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
I'll shut up. I'll let you go.
You're killing me, dude. Okay. Oh, okay. We're good. We're good. We're going to start doing this thing where we rank the race after we do the whole breakdown of everything that happened. Stop smiling. I can't do it. I can't do it. All right, rank the race 1 to 10. I'm sorry. I can't right
now. I'll rank the race 1 to 10. I actually, as big of a rant as that was, I just went on. I don't think it was the worst Phoenix race we've had recently. Like, honestly, I think the option tire did make it more entertaining. Now, like I said, to improve on that, let's just make it the full-time tire. That'll help more than bringing it back same system in November, which I think they already said they're leaning towards no option tires in the playoffs and just running a tire, which then why are we doing this in the regular season? Anyway, whatever. I think the race was solid. I would say out of 10, it was probably like, I'd give it like a 7.1, I think. We're all somewhere in there.
7. I like that, actually. I agree. Sorry, finally getting this back together here. I agree. I think I'm in about the 7 range as well. I'm going to go a little farther because I really enjoyed the finish. I thought it was a
Yeah.
really
Oh
great
yeah,
finish.
yeah.
So I'm going to go up just a little bit to 7.5. I'll give it a 7.5. I actually was decently pleased with that. And the reason why is because this is where our championship race is. And I was thinking, I was like, can you imagine if we had a championship race where it came down to 2 drivers and they were neck and neck like Denny and Bell were?
And they finished it that way.
That would have been crazy. And they didn't wreck each other. Yeah, there was a little bumping, but rubbing's racing. That's just how it goes. But ultimately, clean driving, and the fastest car
Oh,
got back to the
perfect.
start finish line first. Like that's
Yeah,
just
I thought it was perfect. The late race caution thing, like sometimes that gets annoying to me because you're creating more chaos, and that's what Phoenix is. Yada yada restarts the whole thing. But that was about as perfect as that could be handled between Denny and Christopher, and that was a breath of fresh air, dude. It's
yeah.
been two weeks of fresh air
Do
here.
you
Like
think it's because their cars come from the same facility?
it doesn't hurt, but I do think you had Christopher, who's of the new age driver, I'd say the next generation guy who
For sure.
preaches clean racing, lives and
Yep.
dies by it. And then you had Denny, who's the old school, like how they raced on Sunday to the finish line is how Denny was taught. And that's
Yep.
the correct way, in my opinion, as well. So I think it was a perfect combination. You just had the right guys up there again. Like at Coda, you had William Byron, another guy too that runs races correctly, in my opinion, races guys correctly. And yeah, it just showed through a little bit more again. So hopefully this is a trend we continue to see. I love it. It's so much better than seeing a guy like in the Xfinity race or the ARCA race just get tossed into the fence. Like
Yeah.
just not. That's not for me. So
That's
no, hats off to
wrecking
these guys.
wrecking derby. So yeah, so I did give it a little more than that. Moving ahead here, great weekend overall, I think for Phoenix. Now we head to
Mhm.
Vegas on our western swing over here. Can anybody stop Kyle Larson? And is it that 20 car?
Uh yeah, it definitely is the 20 car. I would actually turn that question around and see if Kyle Larson can stop Christopher Bell at this point because
I like that. I
that
like the way
adds
you
up
propose that.
as probably your best bet, I think, going into it, Christopher. That I don't know, man. That there is something in racing for those of you that are like new to the sport or just watching for the first time, whatever. There is something to racing. Like momentum is a serious thing. Like you just roll, things just go well,
Absolutely.
cars dialed in, all this stuff. And I it's really hard for me to not pick Christopher Bell. I know it's 4 in a row. I know it's crazy, but like I know we're gonna make an official pick, but like this place is good to him. I would love to. I'm very excited for Sunday to see if Larson's got anything for him. There's a couple other guys too, but like
Sure. But
it's a perfect
ultimately, I
setup.
think it's those two.
Yeah,
Well, then I guess I'll just ask you. We've put it off the whole episode. It's time. Who wins at Vegas?
yeah. I pretty much just stepped over myself with words and admitted it. But yeah, I'm taking Christopher Bell. Let's go for 4 in a row. Might as well ride the wave at this point. I know I'm late to the party and picking them, but it's Vegas. It's a mile and a half. 20 cars good. Momentum's on your side. Why not?
I like it, and I am not going to pick the same driver as usual, even though I do agree with you. I'm going to go with Larson. It's just kind of one of those things where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're
It's a
extremely successful
good
at this
track for
track.
him to really find some success for the
Yeah.
year. I agree.
And I feel like they haven't really let it rip this year. Like I feel like this hasn't been,
No.
and granted, they started off with a super speedway, so which actually really has been his best race, which is weird, right?
I Yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah, dang. I mean, the whole Atlanta thing, Coda wasn't really much to speak about last weekend. Yeah, man, he had a good points weekend last week, moved 5
Yeah,
spots, but God, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Here
that's
we
what I'm
are talking
saying.
about Kyle Larson as like we're a month into the year and where'd he go?
Yeah,
But
no, it
I don't
has
know.
been
This is a
quiet, but I think,
perfect
oh
weekend
yeah,
for me to eat my words for saying that because
yeah,
my
right.
God, could he lead 250 laps and win the whole thing in a minute flat? It feels like it's yeah.
Yeah, no, that's typically how these things go for him. He's great. That team is great. There's just something about when they go to Vegas. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they all go out for a boys blackjack night the night before and it just gets them in the right placement mentally. I don't know what it is, but every time that the Hendrick 5 shows up to Vegas, it's on. It is
Yeah.
on for them. So that is where I stand with that one. It is now time. Can you hear
Do
it?
it again. Can we do
It
it
is
again?
that time. Can we go from 0 to hero? We were 0 for 6, Klon, and now we're fighting for 2 in a row here. Christopher
2
Bell
for
won
8.
3 in a row.
2 for 8 would be sweet.
2 for 8 would be great.
That's what they say.
Are you ready? What do you got?
Yeah, let's go 3. New
3?
number.
Okay, here we
Just
go.
got it right.
Damn. Should have stuck with
Oh, no.
reliable. Okay, here we go. It's all right, though. We're still in it.
The fact that I get a second shot at this is
2's been the last 2.
3.
So
We picked a new number. 3.
3. Okay, here we go.
Oh.
2 for 2 on this episode.
If you count
Wow, look at you,
Technically
dude.
2 for 9. I'll take
2
it.
for 9. You know, it happens, but we got it. Wow. We had 2 correct dice spins on this episode, and we are yet to have one. So,
That's a first.
boom.
You saw history, folks. Thanks for sticking around to the end to catch that.
Thanks for
'cause, yeah, that's monumental stuff there.
It is big stuff. Looking forward, like we said earlier, we got Vegas next week. We will have another episode next week talking about Vegas, recapping that, and looking ahead to the following week, which is Homestead. So a lot of great stuff on the way. We're really starting to hit that stride. You know, we're starting to get to the point where the season, yeah, it's new, it's fresh, but we're starting to get to the point where it's like it's NASCAR season. You know, it's not feeling fresh anymore. It's like, no, we're in the nitty gritty now. This is what I love.
There's something about the early spring NASCAR that just hits a little bit different. I don't know. Maybe it's just us living up north here. Maybe people in the south here watching with the weather, like the change is in the air, I guess, kind of thing. Like you can just feel spring's coming back. So that's exciting for us people that live in minus 700-degree weather most of the time. So I'd like to see the warm weather, and NASCAR, I guess, is my mental association to that.
No, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. I would give anything to live in Florida and get to, hang out on
You
a
did live
nice
in Florida.
70.
You moved
I
away.
should have said again. That's a fair point. Yeah,
Don't know how you
miss
did
Florida.
that, but
Yeah, I really left Florida to come to Wisconsin. It's cold up here, dude.
that's even worse, dude. You live like not far from Green Bay. That's horrible.
Oh no, come on. That's good stuff. I went to Green Bay last weekend.
That's sweet.
That's great.
I
Saw
saw
Lambeau.
something. I saw something that if this whole it's not going to happen, but the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, if he becomes a Viking by the next time we record, I will probably get a jersey. And I actually saw a tweet from a Packer fan making fun of Vikings fans for doing so if that would happen. For the record, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be a Viking.
He's a Steeler.
Not I don't think that's the direction we're going. Are Packer fans that dumb that yeah, we hated Aaron Rodgers. He played for the Packers because Aaron Rodgers played for the Packers, and now we wouldn't hate him because he would play
for the
Vikings? Is that really that hard for people out there to figure out that yeah, I would go buy my starting quarterback's jersey.
Yeah,
that's a bad thing.
I personally would love to see Vikings fans in an Aaron Rodgers jersey. I just feel like that's kind of funny, and the fact that if he does go, the way that he has followed Brett Favre's career to a T, crazy.
Kind of annoying.
It's literally almost like he set out, it's almost like they had this moment where they're like, okay, listen, I'm going to hate you right now because you're coming in to take my job, but you're going to follow me. And by the end of your time here, you're going to be this guy who says stuff and everybody doesn't like it. You're the old grouch. You're going to leave and go to the Jets for a little bit. And then you're going to the Vikings, just like I did. It's just a little Like it almost feels planned, you know? Like it almost feels like they knew that this was coming. Like
all
is
the stars
Jordan
possibly
Love
aligned for
on
the
the train
situation to
next?
come up twice like this. Like, I don't want Jordan Love. You guys can keep him for as long as you want.
Oh
I'll
dear
never want him.
God. Y'all shipped off Sammy D after a playoff.
Shipped him out. Yeah. We told him, yeah, we traded him for a box of footballs. Yeah, we just got rid of him. Not like we have who would be the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft on our team already. So we can let him play quarterback too.
JJ sucks. Michigan sucks. That's where I stand.
And we're not paying him $745 billion a year like Jordan Love's making. So
yeah,
I'm all right with it.
It's all right. We're going to go get Cooper Kupp. We're going to start this episode off next week, and I'm going to be like, I'm going to be in a Cooper Kupp jersey. Yep. You're going to be an Aaron Rodgers jersey.
You do
and
that.
The world's
the 6th best wide receiver in the division. You can have him. You want our 4th
I really thought we were going to get DK, man.
I was kind of hoping you guys did. That'd be fun, but
I wanted him.
I thought him or the Debo trade thing kind of sounded fun too at the time when it sounded like he was going to get shipped. I thought maybe you guys would get him, but
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I saw that Cooper. Right now, I think it's between us and the Patriots. We're the 2 with the most interest. So
Patriots, yeah, I get the Patriots. I get the Packers way more, but I don't know.
Imagine just a career rejuvenation. We've gone so far off topic here. We basically turned this into an NFL podcast.
That's all right.
At the very end here. No, it is.
It's the only episode this will be
Speaking of, real quick, one more last piece of football news. I saw this while we were doing the show. Pull it back up here. 49ers signed Mac Jones to a 2-year, $7 million deal. Mac Jones is a 49er.
Think about the time as a flat circle thing and the rumblings in that draft class when it was him or Trey Lance, and that like Shanahan loved Mac Jones and they were going to sell the farm, which they sold the farm anyway to get Trey. They wanted Mac instead. And now here we are, 5 years later?
Trey Lance is getting 0 looks right now in free agency. Zach will, like that whole
Trey
class.
Lance, I forgot.
Dude, that whole class, like
technically a free agent. Yeah, he would be then too. Yeah.
So like Trevor Lawrence he's been all right. He hasn't been the generational talent we thought he'd be. He's been okay.
Boy, speaking of
Zach Wilson, right? Boy. Zach Wilson, nothing.
Not a starter.
Then we look at Justin Fields. He's been shipped around, but now will be the starting quarterback of the Jets. So, dude, like
that's crazy. That's that draft class. I would have said for sure Trevor would have been good. Justin, I thought was real good. Still could be, I guess.
I think he still can be.
I thought Justin Fields was a stud. I wanted the Vikings to get Justin Fields so bad. I'll be honest. And they actually, like, rumor came out after the draft. They tried trading up, and that tore my heart out. But
I'd have been so upset.
It says 2020. Now we switched to the school that actually wins in that rivalry, and he's going to be our quarterback.
Okay, pal. All right, we're going to go ahead and just shut this podcast off now. No more football talk. This has been ended. Okay, all right. Thanks for tuning in here, guys. Tell your grandma or whatever I normally say. Bye.